Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I'll share with you several ideas of paper Christmas decorations. They are very fun and easy to make, so I hope you like them. I'll start with a very simple but really cute decoration, a star garland. To make lucky stars, you want to cut an A4 sheet of paper into strips along the longer sheet side. The maximum width of the strip is about 2/3 of an inch. You can make it smaller. I have here 1/2 inch and 2/3 of an inch strips. If you want to make the stars larger, for example using a strip an inch wide, then A4 sheet will not be enough and you want to use A3 paper then. This is the side of the star made out of 2/3 an inch strip, and here is the one made of 1/2 an inch strip. Here is how to fold them. Take a strip of paper and tie a knot at the end of it. Bend it about 2 inches from the edge, put the short end on the long one, and then thread the short end into the resulting loop and tighten it carefully. The short end should stick out a little from the knot, about 1/2 an inch. Bend it onto a knot like so. Now begin wrapping the long end around the knot. As you can see, the knot is a regular pentagon, and when you wrap the long end around it, the strip naturally falls to one side of the pentagon. All you have to do is just bend it to the other side. You want to wrap it like so until you've got only a small end left, which you will tuck in. I've got a little bit too long of an end here. In this case, you can cut it a little to fit inside the pentagon. And then you need to slip the end under these two corners on the pentagon. The base is ready, and now I'll shape the star. To do this, I'm gently pressing with my nails on the middles of the adjacent sides. I've got a ray. Then I'm moving to the next side, pressing again, and I've got the second ray. And so on until I've shaped all the 5 rays. So I've got a cute little plump star. As you can see, making them is very quick and easy, but as always there are a couple of moments. From what I found out while my son was trying to repeat this, you shouldn't push hard on the pentagon when you're folding it. It should be a little bit plump, like a flat pillow, otherwise you will not be able to shape the rays later, the pentagon will crumple and nothing will come of it. Make all the folds gently and do not press hard anywhere. Also, somehow smaller stars look nicer and tidier than larger ones. I tried to make larger stars out of long strips, 1 inch wide, but they look a little bit less neat than the smaller ones, which are just cuties. I liked making them out of wrapping paper. These stars look great when you have a lot of them. Even now, when they are just lying around on the table, you can see how cool they look. I'm going to make a garland out of them. So I'm taking a thread and a large needle, tying a bead at the end, and then I'm stringing the stars on the thread. I'm stringing bigger and smaller stars randomly. Also, I'm placing the stars not sticking together, but I'm leaving a distance of about 2 inches between them in order to make the garland more light-feeling, so to say, so that the stars do not move onto the thread and stray to one end. I'm securing each star with a knot. At first I did 2 knots on each side of the star, but I quickly realized that 1 knot was just enough. I think the stars of the thread resemble a constellation now, right?
At the end, I'm tying another bead to the thread and the garland is ready. I think these stars look really cute. Such a garland will look great on a Scandinavian or a kind of minimalistic Christmas tree. It drapes very nicely and you can even lay it out casually on a table among other decor. You can use printed paper or combine several colors when making the stars, but I think gold or silver stars are classics. The next project I'll show today are snowflakes or flowers, call them as you like. You will need a template for them and you can use whatever colored paper you like. I have here a gray-green one. To save time on cotton, I'm folding the edge of the paper so that half of the template fits onto it, outlining the template and cutting out the entire petal at once. After I've cut out all the parts on the folded part, I'm making another fold, remembering that half of the petal should fit there, outlining and cutting it out, and so on. Cutting is much faster this way and you get the petals that are perfectly symmetrical, but the paper consumption is slightly high, of course. You can also trace and cut out the entire petals and fold them later if you wish. The petal is going to be voluminous and you'll require 3 or 4 parts depending on the thickness of the paper. If your paper is not very thick, use 4 parts. So I'm applying paper glue onto the outside half of the petal and attaching the second petal to it. Then I'm also applying glue onto the outer side of the second petal and attaching the third petal to it. It is now looking like a little book. And finally, I'm attaching the fourth petal from the underside. Continuing the analogy, I'm attaching the cover to the book. If you have thick paper, you don't need to glue this underside petal, 3 parts are just enough. To make the edges look neater and more finished, I'm tinting the edges of the petal. This looks especially good on bright or dark paper. To do this, I'm folding the little book and painting the edges white with a sponge. A flower will need 6 petals, or I'd rather say 6 petals of the same type, because it looks best if you combine several different types of petals in a flower or a snowflake. I made different patterns of petals, you can combine them as you like. As always, I will leave the links to all the templates in the description box below. To assemble the flower, I've cut out a small circle out of thick paper, it's about 2 inches, and best is to divide it in advance into 6 parts to have a guide where to attach the petals. And I'm attaching the outer row of petals first. Here I've left some space in the middle for the second row. These flowers or snowflakes look beautiful when combined with ribbons. I've selected a ribbon of a suitable color, I'm cutting it into pieces of the desired length and I'm hot gluing the loops between the paper petals. Then I'm adding the second row of smaller paper petals over the ribbons. And finally, I'm going to decorate the center. Here you can add a ribbon or a paper rosette or even add a picture of an angel or a button or something. All you have to do is to add a loop for hanging. The second flower I'll make is going to be brighter. I'll use red and white petals for it. First, I'm also attaching larger petals onto the circle base. I've picked silver ribbon here. I had a small piece of it sitting in my ribbon storage box. It was very small, so I've cheated a little here. I've hot glued the edge of the ribbon to the wrong side, making it look like a petal made out of fabric. This ribbon is quite wide, so I'm folding it near the center of the base. This ribbon also has wire in it, so I can bend the petals nicely. Then I'm hot gluing the second row of paper petals. These are small but really bright. In this case, in order to keep with the color of the ribbon, I'm hot gluing plastic silver beads into the center of the flower. And I'm also adding a loop. You can make such snowflake flowers either very lush and bright or make elegant and simple white decorations with only one row of petals and a rosette in the center. And of course, you can change the size to your liking. I found tons of these flowers on Pinterest, but they were all made using die cuts and stamps, and of course not everyone has these. By the way, you can also use organza fabric instead of ribbons. It also looks very festive. For the next decoration, I've printed out vintage music sheets and aged the paper using instant coffee, as I showed in the video about decor with maps. My sheets are pre-marked in squares and I'm cutting these squares accordingly. You'll find these templates in the info box as usual. I've got the square of 3 inches. To make it more clear, I'll show you how to fold it using a square of colored paper and of a larger size. So first, fold the square diagonally right side out. Bend the corners upwards to the top of the resulting triangle. Now you've got a rhombus. Then bend these wings outwards like so, folding the edge of the wing with the edge of the rhombus. Then open the bent wings like so. You'll get kind of pockets here. Bend the tops of the pockets down so that the upper edge is in one line with the former rhombus. And finally, fold each pocket in half on itself towards the middle. Apply glue on one of the halves of the pockets and attach it to the half of the second pocket, folding the rhombus into a cone. Well, now I'll do the same with the music square sheet. As you can see, everything is quite quick and easy. You will need 5 of such cones to assemble a flower. I'm connecting them at the junction of the cones. Best is to use hot glue here. To make a decoration, I'll need 12 flowers, so you can easily figure out that I'll need to make 60 cones. It seems like quite a lot, but folding of each cone takes literally no more than a minute, so it's not so bad, although of course it will take some time. I wanted to make this ornament in a vintage style, so I'm using aged paper, but of course you can take absolutely any paper you like, patterned or plain, and cut it into squares. Likewise, otherwise you can make any size. I'll end up with an ornament of about 4 inches in diameter. If you want to make it larger, just use larger squares. The final diameter of the ornament will be approximately equal to the diagonal of the square. To make the decoration look more festive, I'll add some glitter. I'm applying white glue on the edges of the petals and dipping the flower into glitter. In fact, here I've got fine mica. Best is to do this right now, before assembly. It will be more complicated to do it on the finished ornament. After everything dries, I'm assembling the ornament. All the flowers will be connected at the tops, that is, the pointed edges of the cones. First, I'm connecting 2 flowers at 2 adjacent tops. I'm attaching the third flower between the first 2. One top of it goes to the first flower, the second to the second flower, and in the center, the tops of all 3 flowers come together. And so I'm assembling the whole ornament into kind of a ball, like a puzzle, gluing the flowers along the tops. Actually, they themselves fall into the slots as needed. The main thing is to remember that we connect the tops of the cones. If they do not converge a little, sometimes you'll have to help them fit. Before attaching the last flower, I'm hot gluing a loop for hanging to one side. Now the last flower, and we're done. To make the decoration look more elegant, I'm hot gluing plastic pearls into the middle of the flowers. I think that it turned out to be a very cute decoration in a vintage style, as if it came from the last century. In case you want to make ornaments of a different size, I'll leave a link to the website where I've downloaded the old music sheets. There you can choose those that you like and print them out. The next decoration is Christmas trees. To make them you will need a template, which you will find in the description box as usual. I'll show you how I've made the biggest Christmas tree. I'm going to use crepe paper for this. Mine is quite thick, but I think thinner paper will also work here. Here I've tried to use all the height of the paper I could in order to fit 2 parts in one row, so I'm cutting the paper into strips where 2 Christmas trees would fit together, and I'm folding all these strips in half to make pieces of paper as even in size as possible. I've used just a whole roll of paper for the bigger Christmas tree. Then I'm folding several strips of paper in a pile, making it thick but not very thick, so that I could cut it easily. My paper is quite thick, so I'm folding together 8 or 10 layers of paper at a time. I'm fixing the tree and the stack of paper together with paper clips, and I'm cutting out the tree. To be honest, when I was planning this project, I thought that I would suffer from cotton, because a lot of details are required to make a tree, at least 60 pieces or even more if you want it more dense. But it turned out that everything was not so bad. I've spent only about 20 minutes on cotton because I've cut 8 or 10 parts at once, so I had to repeat that for only 6 or 7 times. Further, as you might guess, I'll glue the parts together, making a honeycomb pattern. First, 2 parts are glued together along the lines, which I'm marking in pink. And then the next part will be glued in a checkerboard way, now along the lines that I'm marking in green. In order not to get confused, first I'll glue all the Christmas trees in pairs using the first pattern. I'm using hot glue, this is the fastest way. I'm gluing the parts into stages so that the glue stays very hot and this gluing line turns out to be thinner. For the same reason, I'm pressing the joints well immediately to flatten the glue inside even more. After all the Christmas trees have got their pairs, I'm going to assemble the tree, and this time I'm going to be using the second pattern, which I have drawn with a green pen. Here everything is exactly the same as for the first case, I'm only changing the gluing pattern. But of course, you want to be careful and not be distracted so as not to glue the wrong row. Closer to the middle it becomes easier because small grooves form at the gluing sides and you can already see where to apply glue. The Christmas tree is almost ready, there are just a couple of details left. To make the tree open and fold easily, I'm hot gluing cardboard parts on the outside of the folded Christmas tree. Any good thing cardboard will do mine is from a packaging box. To make the Christmas trees even more elegant and at the same time to decorate the edges, where not all of the parts are cut out perfectly of course, or rather all are far from perfection, I'm going to cover the edges with glitter. To do this, I'm applying white glue on the edges of the folded Christmas tree and immediately before the glue begins to dry, I'm sprinkling it with glitter. I'm pouring the excess into a container and then unfolding the Christmas tree and fixing it with a clip so that the glue doesn't have time to glue adjacent rows together. All you have to do is to wait until the glue has dried and the Christmas tree is ready. I think many of you have seen such Christmas tree on Pinterest or at Christmas stores. Now they're very popular. By the way, similar ones are sold in IKEA this year. This tree looks very nice in deep jewel colors like wine, dark red or even gray or brown, and of course they look best in groups. I'll try to find links for crepe paper of nice colors for you. I think this is the most budget-friendly option of double-sided colored paper, but due to their graceful shape, such Christmas trees will look great even made out of ordinary office paper with silver glitter. I began with stars and I'll finish with stars as well. I found these on a Japanese origami channel and I really like them. You can make it either out of an A3 sheet, then you get such a star. Here is what you'll get out of A4. And here is the smallest, made out of A5. In general, take a sheet of paper of these formats as a base. So, take a sheet of paper and fold it in half lengthwise. You will need this line later to cut the sheet. Unfold the paper back and now fold the sheet into a vertical accordion pleat. First, fold in half, then each half again in half, and then each half again in half. You want to divide the sheet vertically into 8 parts. Cut the sheet along the longitudinal fold which you've done in the beginning. Put one half aside for now and work with the second one. Fold the paper in half lengthwise. Position the paper so that the fold is at the bottom. Next, you are going to make the markings for further folding. First, fold the right corner down to the fold line of the paper. Then use the vertical folding creases as guiding lines. Skip the first vertical crease and at the second one, fold the right part of the paper strip upwards, like so. You'll get a diagonal crease. After that, fold the left side of the paper strip up at the same second vertical crease. Again, skip the third vertical crease and for the fourth one, also fold the strip up, first on the right and then on the left, making diagonal creases. Further, also skip the fifth one and bend the strip at the sixth one, on the right and on the left. You want to make the creases very sharp, help yourself with your nails or a ruler for that. At the very end, fold the left corner of the paper down, just as you did at the very beginning. You've marked triangles along the bottom folding line. Now, take the middle of the first such triangle, there is a vertical crease there, and bend it to the side of that triangle. Press the resulting crease well, starting from the vertical crease. Now do the same for the left half of the triangle. Fold the middle to the side and press the crease from the vertical line down. You'll get a second triangle. This one is lower and more squat. Repeat this operation throughout the strip, marking out small triangles. After that, unfold the paper. You have volley creases on the upper half of the sheet and mounting creases on the bottom half. You need to make them all the volley creases, so refold all the creases to the other side. Now the markup is ready and you are going to fold the star itself. First, fold the paper in half lengthwise as at the very beginning. Fold the right corner down to the fold line and then fold it back onto itself. Do the same with the second corner. Now the most complicated moment comes. Look, here the small triangles have formed a rhombus. You need to fold it. To do this, gently press on the middle part of the rhombus and at the same time press on the sides to the right and to the left of it. If everything is done correctly, you'll get two facets from the both sides of the rhombus, and the rhombus itself folds in half easily. Now bend the paper to the right and to the left. Look, here under the folded rhombus you've got two small wings. Bend them inwards. Then fold the paper to the middle like so, and here on the sides you've got these wide wings. Fold them on themselves towards the center. Further in the center you've got a long rhombus again, which needs to be folded in the same way as the first one. Press again on the middle of the rhombus and press on the sides to get two side facets on each side. And fold the rhombus in half. Fold the paper out to the sides again. Fold the small wings inwards. Fold the paper towards the center. And fold the large wings towards the center. Here you'll have a third rhombus. You'll need to fold all the paper like so. You will end up with half a star. Here I'm not speeding up the video in order you could repeat and make all the steps together with the video. If you need to speed it up or slow down, press the gear on the right corner of the video. Fold the second half of the star out of the second half of the paper sheet, just like the first one, and now you want to connect them. Look, all the little wings that you have folded are bent to one side. Place the two star halves so that all these wings are bent to one side, for example, to the left. After that, unfold the large and the small wings on the right half of the star and put the second half of the star inside. Fold the large wings back inside the beam of the second half and also fold the small ones inwards, finally connecting the two halves of the star together. Now open the star and repeat the operation on the other side. Unfold the large and the small wings. Insert the small wings into the second half and all you have to do is to tuck the large wings into the second half. The star is ready. I've made many of these stars of different colors and sizes. I have here blue, light blue and gold ones. The gold ones are made out of wrapping paper and the blue ones are made from pastel paper, which I usually buy at an art store. This is an excellent paper. They have it thinner and thicker and it comes in beautiful range of colors, so it is great for decoration. By the way, use thinner paper to fold these stars. Thicker paper like album sheets is more difficult to fold. I'm stringing the stars on monofilament so that the suspensions were not visible from a distance, and I'll hang them in the kitchen window together with fairy lights. I think these stars look just magical. You can also use them as Christmas tree decorations, or you can assemble a beautiful garland. And a big star would be a great Christmas tree topper, especially if you add some glitter. And by the way, what I like is that these stars are assembled without glue, so you can disassemble and fold them for storage after Christmas and use for the next year.
So I hope you liked today's ideas. If it is so, please give this video a thumb up. And also, if you're new, I want to say a huge welcome. If you like my ideas, don't forget to subscribe. I post videos every Wednesday and Sunday. Thanks for watching this video. We'll see you in the next one. Bye!